Hi everyone, welcome to Lightman TV. Okay, this is try number 2. The first video turned into 25 minutes. It's way too crazy. So I kind of must cut it a little bit down. So now everyone heard about some type of spirits, right? Type of spirit world. Some call them jinn. Then you have fairies. You know, in Peter Pan you have this fairy that makes the golden dust and then Peter can fly. And like for example, I bet up to 150 years ago in all Europe people were giving food to spirits. They do this till today in Cambodia. My wife, for example, told me, I just told her like when I didn't know back then, said like, how can you give this food to somebody who you don't see and you don't know what's going on, where so many children are starving on the streets and this kind of stuff. But as I say, I didn't know back then what's going on myself. So they give food to these spirits and they have like these small houses, like literally that size. There's a house, it's like a shrine, and it is like on a stand, and then they put a few fruits, and then they put these burning, smoking sticks, and they flame them, and flaming the stick is the signal for the spirits that they can come and eat. That's why it's so funny, you know, that Ryuk in Death Note, he likes to eat apples, and he doesn't have apples like this in his world. That's why always, I remember that's why Puck, also in Gargoyles, always had so much fun with the mortals. That's what it represents. It actually, and as I said, like, but okay, this is too crazy now. This will be too many thoughts mixed up and whatever. So these spirits eat food. And like I said, up to 150 years ago, I bet, in all those European countries, they gave food, sugar bread, just bread with butter and some sugar on it, and they would put it outside the house, and this would be the food for the spirits, and this is how they lived with the spirits, because they knew, they had the knowledge. Now we don't live with the spirits. Now, you know, we live in whatever, I don't want to talk about it, right? So we don't live with the spirits, we sort of live against the spirits, and like it's all total crap. My wife once, she told me when she was a girl, her grandma told her, leave some rice for the spirit, put it outside the house. Of course she didn't, and when she came home, she saw a white girl, like a light girl, sitting on the edge of the house, on the stairs of the house, like Cambodian typical houses, the wooden ones, slightly off ground, and then whatever, and she would sit there, and the girl, that spirit, the house spirit, you know, the Hausgeist, everyone knows this. There's a spirit in the house that protects the house, and so on and so on. And the girl was sitting there, and she was like, she was scratching the empty pot with a spoon, you know. Imagine what a fucking annoying sound it makes. So that's how the house spirit has expressed her feelings, and how pissed off she is about that my wife fucked up, you know. So my wife has seen a spirit like this herself, the house spirit. This is a spirit, it's a friendly spirit, there's no demon, whatever, and it's all these things are that what we make them. In Muslim culture we have jinns. Every Muslim knows that jinns live among us. The genie in a bottle and all whatever. Right? So they knew back then, some cultures and people still know here, Cambodia, they're the Muslims, whatever. Which just means that these spirits, these beings, they live amongst us, and they are here now and all the time and all the time and all the time and all the time, but we don't see them, because we do not have the Shinigami eyes. You know, this is again from Death Note. Once you watch it, you understand. It's just special eyes with which you can see the spirits. There's a story in Cambodia which my wife didn't know. It's an ancient story which tells how people back then also had the Shinigami eyes. They could see spirits, but then whatever, she didn't know the story herself. either like they traded this skill for something else, or something happened, whatever, like mythological story, but people saw it back then. Dogs and cats still do see it now, the spirits. This is also known to everyone. The other example is meditation. Like I said in the other video, when I lay down and I meditate and I feel this epic stream of energy flowing from down to up, taking me with it. And now I don't feel it, of which the logical conclusion is it's there all the time. I just don't feel it / see it when I don't focus on it. And this is what means for you and for me. It's all the time there, we just don't see it. You know. And the same goes for Eden. You know, that's why... Oh, it was the 555 when I looked at the time. Funny. So that's why Eden exists all the time. And the seed of Eden is the heart. That's why heart, he art, here, earth, tear, everything. The word heart is the most coded word, and this is obviously the most whatever, you know. Combined with the virtual reality and so on and so on and so on and so on, like the dome above Earth. I have a Facebook friend who reported me already, like years ago, 3-4 years ago. He told me he has seen the grid. He has seen the power grid. Looks like a honeycomb sort of system, like a net of energy. And 2 of my friends have seen it too. You know, on psychedelics, you just see those. He used mushrooms. The other guy, I don't remember what my friends used, but you see it. So these ones are like acting like gates, you know. And you can't pass these, because I say it's like this example: the fly flies into this energetical thing and is being destroyed by the electricity. And this is what happens to us. That's why we can't go there. Once we leave the body and the essence, it's just the essence. It must be holographic in nature. It must be less dense. That's why enlightenment, light as the opposite of heavy, heavy as heaven. After you've done the heavy work here, you can go to heaven, no problem. And then you can just enter, you know. But you must be less dense than this gate. And this is how you enter Eden. So that's why if you have achieved enough virtual reality points, you know, then you can go. Then you just, okay, the player just can upgrade. A new level, a new world, new quests, new magical items, new friends and clans and all that stuff, and then just go up. But the only way up and out is in, right? It's that simple. So the heart is the seed, you know. And once this opens, that's why many people see this, like, because they're behind the veil. The veil represents the surface, the face of the Sir, of the Lord, right? And that's why we are the seeds. We are always in the darkness. And the moment we hit the light, you know, we go through the surface. This is where we hit the light. This is enlightenment. And from there we grow. But until then, we feel like, oh, what the hell's going on? Why is it so dark? Why nothing ever happens? Why this? Why that? Because the seed grows so slowly. It just doesn't work this way. It's not just like boom, bam, then it makes no fun. Then there's no game. There's nothing. But once the seed hits the light, it just grows. And then you become a tree, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So in other terms, Eden is nothing but a less dense world. It is a more holographic world with less density. Density is, again, it's dense, it's hard, it's whatever, you know. I mean, that's what you would imagine spirits to be, right? You just imagine them to be less dense. That's why they can walk through walls and stuff. Because they're just on another level of density and they're here all the time, and that's why we don't see them, because we're not adjusted to this light spectrum. You know, that's why we don't hear so many things. Like, we hear only 1% of the sound spectrum or something. I know it was one. We see 1% of the light spectrum only. And so imagine, like, how many things are around us that we don't see. How much of the light spectrum, of the sound spectrum, do we actually recognize? You know, nothing. You know, nothing. That's why all these things exist all the time, but just we're not able. We don't have the Shinigami eyes. So, everyone knows now about this. There are no forests on Earth, and we see all those big tree trunks, and right. So it's crystal clear. This were the big trees. So the way I see this is like two things going, happening at the same time. One thing is the forest was completely densified, you know, because from more holographic going closer and more energy, you will get more and more liquid, and then you get solid, you know. That's why we are in this solid, liquid, whatever state. It's just being compressed. The other thing is the magical cloak that grants you invisibility. Okay? In other words, it's just technology that makes invisible. It's already there. You can already check it up on YouTube. There are already cloaks that make you invisible. You know. And this is, if you think about it, about all these reptilians and lizards and all these things, every news speaker anywhere in the world is a reptilian. And the way you used to tell these people is like this. Go as close as possible to the screen. Look at eyes and mouth simultaneously. And then you see the slits. And then you see the teeth sharpen. You know. And believe it or not, I said this to like 3 to maximum 5 people within the past 7, whatever, 8, 9, 10 years. And the last time, half a year ago, I wanted to show this to my wife. They took the close-ups out of the German national television. I wanted to show her in the library, in the media library of ARD. This is the biggest German bullshit whatever thing. And they took the close-ups out, which is a big thing. I first interpreted like, oh man, I knew this is because I told people. This is how much they're scared of this info. 100% sure. And I thought, well played. One day later, I figured out I have well played, because the thing is, the closer you are to the snake's eyes, you know, that's why they also ding, and then it makes the circles. The way they in Mowgli, in Disney's Mowgli Jungle Book, you know, this is how the snake Kaa just took and brainwashes him, and he gets those circly eyes. And they always show this in the clip. It's also shown. I'm a bad liar from Imagine Dragons. There's also shown, you know. So yeah. The closer they come with this, the stronger is the magic spell. So in order to have any power, they must have already reduced the power by half, and you know, otherwise you see them as snakes. But it's too late anyway. Soon everybody will know. So the conclusion of this is that these snakes, these lizards, whatever, have a type of magic spell / cloaking holographic technology which hides their appearance. This refers to all the witches and whatever, you know. That's why on the outside they look so pretty, and then oh shit, the cable. Let me check. I just removed the cable, doesn't it? Must be recharged already, if not, doesn't matter. That's why this is referring to the witches, you know. The witch on the outside will appear as a beautiful whatever, and as this friendly whatever. That's how the Snow White gets the apple, right? She's a regular woman and whatever, and in Rapunzel, what was it? I don't remember how the woman stays young, but she always wanted to stay young. The bad stepmother, and if she loses the source of those children and whatever, the adrenochrome, right? Then you would see her real self. She's just a witch, and she's like super fucked up and super old and whatever. So as I say, this all points to this cloaking, hiding technology / magic. You know, and as soon as the jig is up, like the curtain lifts, the spell falls. So I don't remember whether I already said it or not. One thing is, Eden was condensed, you know, from holographic to actually real. And that's why I'm pointing out with the worlds that we don't see. It's actually here all the time, you just don't see it. And it starts with your heart, because only when you see from your heart, then you actually see it. Then, as I say, then you go from evil through the veil to life. You know, that's how it is. But since most people don't see from their heart, they are caught in this cloaking technology. They have this veil in front of their eyes, you know, and the veil is here. And the veil is just, literally, it's just a thin layer of light. That's just this be the Luciferian light or whatever you want to call it. But this is represented through many things. This is represented through the guy who has just a TV on his head. This is the reference to this cloaking technology, right? They have the screen and they just see this, and their spirit is inside the box. It's like the genie in the bottle, and the genie wants to get out and whatever. So yeah, Eden is condensed. The human heart is a seed from Eden, you know. And this is, as I said, once you hit the ground, you hit the surface, literally when you see God, when you know, and then you are in Eden. Then you understand that Eden has always existed. You just never saw it. It's like the truth in this world. I mean, do you think the truth has disappeared from this world or what? No. Way more logical is that you just didn't see it. Right? It's super logical. Like, how would the truth disappear? Everything is based on truth. The truth cannot disappear. Only your view of the truth can disappear, you just don't see it. So that's the two things that have happened. Eden was shrinked. It became more dense as a seed in our heart, number one. And number two is, when you see it, those tree stumps, they must be covered. They still exist. Eden still exists. There was nothing. Eden just exists behind a magical cloak, behind this magic spell, behind this cloaking technology. You know, and it was made only accessible to the best players in the virtual reality. So once you're done with the virtual reality, you've enough points, you can just go to the next level. Then you can go to Eden. New game, new quests, whatever. 20 minutes, but yeah, okay. It is what it is. So it's not even shorter than the past video. The past video was 25 minutes. And yeah. So that's why I say the dome is a kind of cloaking technology. It's why you don't see the images. The iMAGE. You know. Because you're not a mage, you're not a magician. You just fall for the spell. But once you see from the heart, with your heart, and then because the only way out is in. You know, the only way up is down. Basically, when you die, you go up. If you have enough karma, virtue points, you know, then sure, no problem. But if you're not a good player, then of course you're gonna stay on this server. First need to upgrade. You first need level 10,000, and you can go there. Before that, yeah, you're not welcome. It's that simple. And that's why I say this. If the reptilians have this technology, then of course the creator of all things also has this technology. That's why it's like, you know, it's just the border to this level. And yeah, another way of picturing this is I always see the onion as everything. Because the middle is the middle path is the whatever, you know, and this is what hits the top. And all the onion layers, they're just the different worlds. And it doesn't matter on which layer of the onion you are, it's still just the onion. It's still just connected to the middle. It still all just goes up. It's like smaller circles, bigger circles, and then this is the sizes of the world as well. But they all rooted on the same middle level. You know, that's why the trees, as I say, they must be gigantic. You see how gigantic the trees must have been, right? And that's why I say they not must have been, they're still there. They're only on another level of density. They're just more holographic. We're super dense. That's why also if you become a giant, it's still the same amount of energy, but the same amount of energy is just being distributed in more holographical states. That's why atom, you know. If you think of this atom, it's the neutron in the middle and then the electron around it, you know. And the electron around it spins so fast, that it takes this size. But in fact, it's just the electron and the neutron, the electron, whatever it was. Could be also fake, but there is a clear reference. It's also like the ruler. If you take a ruler and then you just, you know, put it under pressure and ding, 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 it will swing up and down. It will swing that fast that you see it to be everywhere at the same time, but you know it's only one ruler. Funny that it's the ruler and the ruler, you know. So that's why when you become atom, when you become gigantic, you also become holographic, you become less dense. It's the same amount of energy, just distributed evenly on a higher body. That's why, like I said, the giant are seen to be completely hollow on the inside. It has only this outer layer, the skin layer, as energy. Everything else, there's no energy. And this is how you get, and this is how you are in Eden. Like I said, enlightenment, light, you are light. You're just light, and you're light as opposite of heavy. So once you're here, small seed, you just grow, you become big, and then you just pass through the energy grid, through the dome, still as a seed, because you become even smaller, right? Once you die, the spirit, the essence is even smaller than what this body is now. And this is how it easily can go. And you understand this even more when you see the Silver Surfer dream. I have to later, because the Silver Surfer, what he does, he travels into the microverse. Then of course, as I say, they are the outer rings, they're spinning so fast. The only way to get out through these is the smaller you become, right? That's why the small fly can fly so fast and we can't get it and so on. Anyway. Then once you're the essence, you can just pass the energy grid, and the rings, they come from the Silver Surfer dream, that you will understand it, and they come from my enlightening meditation. You will also understand this later when I give you the visuals. It's basically this being which you see in Westworld, which is in the ring. It's basically this being that you see on Da Vinci's picture, where the man is standing one time with arms like this and whatever, and he stands in a square and in a circle. This is the YouTube. So yeah, basically Eden exists all the time, you just don't see it, it's holographic, it's, you know, that's why it looks to you that the trees were cut off, but it's a magic spell to your eyes. You know, they're still there. They just exist on another level of density. You can't touch them. So like I said, that's why the spirits, if you imagine spirits and they show Casper and so on, spirits can go through the walls because they're less dense. And with all the examples given, it is super clear. Okay, now the video's again 25 minutes. And I don't know, I hope you got it. Else you have to wait for more visuals. Because that's how I started the other video actually. I kind of just only like the Eden theory because the theory makes it sound cool. But of course it's no theory. You know. But of course you can't see it at the same time. Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter how logical it sounds. People still have their doubts and whatever. But anyway, at some point you will lose your doubts. Okay, thanks for your attention. It's really long, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.